It is the last day of the year and indeed the last episode of Business Express for the year 2018, reaching you from our Abuja studios. Tuesday, the 1st of 2019 is public holiday as declared by the federal government to mark the new year. Financial institutions, especially deposit money banks, operated at half day this Monday. Refineries lose 96 billion naira in 9 months, and Nigeria's Purchasing Managers Index rises for a record 21st time. Thanks for joining us. I am Musa Abubakar, your guide. We begin with a view of the business environment in Abuja on this last day of the year. Mohammed Ali is in Garki, Abuja. Can you give us a vivid description of where you are?
Thank you very much, Musa. Business activities are yet to pick up fully in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, since the Christmas holidays. Last week, Thursday and Friday, work resumed and businesses were low. And as you can see today, Monday, the first day of the week, which is also the last day of the month, in fact, last day of the year 2018, is supposed to be a working day and activities are very low. This is area 8, where we have a lot of banks, about 10 to 12 banks are concentrated here, and normally on a normal day by this time you will see this place is beehive of activities with people going in and coming out of the banks. But as you can see today, the place is empty. Well, this may not be unfair due to the fact that most of the banks close today at 2 p.m. Some of them even close at 12:30 this afternoon to enable their workers also have a feel of the New Year celebrations, as tomorrow has been declared public holiday to enable Nigerians mark the first day of the year 2019. So it's not surprising that there is no business activities taking place here in the capital, Federal Capital Territory, and as you can see, things are low, as I earlier said. So that is the situation here, Musa. I think I'll hand over to you in the studio.
Thank you, Muhammad. Now, on the countdown to 2019, Bosede Abel has been sampling opinions of preparations for the coming days. Let's have the views, Bose.
Area 10, where business is booming as usual. Now, New Year comes with so much expectations. This is a period when people make resolutions. It's also a fresh start to those that have targets and look forward to achieving it. Now, I want to find out what people are planning and how they intend to achieve that at the end of 2019. My name is Bosede Abel. Come with me.
I want to make larger of my company, because my company is Senior Man Prints, and I want to get a machine, rent a shop, put in from Lagos, things from Lagos to the shop, so that I will be more larger, more great. That's what I want to do.
This business is really helping me. So my plan is just to go into rearing chicken. At least when I sell that one, the income, I'll not use it to, as in I will invest it on this so that I can be able to like have a canopy where people will be helping me to sell and the rest of them.
But I put a lot of things in place, just like I put in place last year. But whatever you put in place, it still beholds on the government to oil it. There should be a support from their side, not necessarily them bringing money. There are things that need to be in place, and if these things does not go and they are not in places, your business plans or whatever you are projected will be in futile effort.
I want it to be bigger in New Year. I should not remain this way. I want bigger next year. I want next year to be changed for me.
It is money that can do everything. That is why the Bible says, money answereth everything. But I need money to start a good business.
Well, we've heard from our various respondents about their plans for 2019. We hope after all said and done that 2019 will yield more progress in various businesses.
Thank you, Bosede Abel. Ibrahim Shelling is a banker with experience in wealth management and alternative financing and joins us now to discuss the topic, planning for personal income and expenditure for a new year. You're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, resolutions. Normally at the end of the year, people get to have resolutions. But where is the place of resolutions in planning finances? Or should I say, do New Year resolutions have a place in planning finances?
Okay, well, look, resolutions are, in terms of self-evaluation, it's a perfect time towards the end of the year to evaluate the bad habits that we've had in the past, and we're trying to eradicate that. So I think it's the same thing with personal finance. Some people have bad financial habits, so resolutions are a way to eradicate those financial habits leading into the new year.
Okay, what comes first, planning for income or expenditure?
Well, I would say you plan for expenditure. It's the one that you can control. You might not necessarily be able to control income unless, perhaps salary earners. But if you're a business person, for instance, you might not necessarily know your business cash flows through the year. So it's always better to plan for your expenditure and tailor your income around that expenditure.
But what about if you, because you need to have income before you think of expenditure.
Sure.
Then what about someone that wants to plan for, let's say, a business or something like that?
Okay, well, if you're planning to start a business, there are various financing options that you can consider. If you haven't, if you don't have your own personal money, you're obviously looking at debt financing. You could also look for equity financing. It tends to be a bit more difficult in this part of the world. However, there are options. Most people that tend to start businesses use their personal savings.
Okay.
So you'd have to have that financial discipline to be able to have saved enough money to have capital for a business.
What's that equity finance?
Okay, so equity, you're looking at, with debt financing, it's you're lending from a financial institution from a personal borrowing. Equity financing is essentially giving out shares in your business and people buying into your business in terms of being shareholders in your business.
Okay, we are talking about big business.
Not necessarily. I mean, even on a small business, if you're a registered business, you can have people as shareholders that can put in some funds into your business. Once the business makes profit, then they also derive based on their shareholding.
Okay, what are the factors to consider when it comes to planning for the year?
Okay, first of all, as I said, initially self-evaluation, right? You need to be realistic with yourself. What are the things you plan to achieve? Setting goals are vitally important because goals are what will determine, the steps that you're going to take to meet up your objectives. Okay, so long-term goals, medium-term goals, short-term goals. Typically they say 50% of your income should be, should be spent on rent, all the essentials, basic needs that you need, 30% might be on lifestyle expenses and perhaps 20% on, saving for the rainy day and for the longer term.
Does that depend on one's class?
Not necessarily. I mean, people tell me, you have excess funds, that's why you can save. Not necessarily. Look, if you can save 2,000 naira a day, for 20-year-old, for instance, now can save 2,000 naira per month. By the time they turn 65, that 2,000 naira per month will be worth over 25 million naira. So if you look at those kind of concepts, it's the same discipline that it takes to save 2,000 naira that perhaps somebody that earns more can save 20,000 naira.
Okay, normally at the beginning of the year, people do complain of there's no money and things like that. And meanwhile, they've already planned for the year. What can be said to be responsible? I'm sorry. What is it that they have ignored when planning?
Well, you know, typically towards the end of the year, everybody wants to relax, let loose, and enjoy themselves. So the discipline tends to go a bit, you know, astray. What typically you should look out for is January tends to be the longest month in the year because you're paid midway through December for salary earners. And you don't get paid again till the end of January. So if you plan well, you should be able to have your essential expenses that will last you through January till at least payday in January, while still not, you know, not scrimping too much and allowing yourself to enjoy the festivities.
Okay. Normally, when they plan at the beginning of the year, there's this New Year euphoria.
Sure.
Then it gradually fades. What do you think is responsible for that?
Well, look, it's partly human nature. You know, once you set yourself a goal, you're highly motivated, and it's a little bit easier at the beginning of it. You know, you've set these fantastic goals, and you're going ahead with it. You know, midway through the year, things get a bit tough. Motivation is down, and the discipline goes out the window. Sometimes it's better to, you know, get your mentors or consultants.
How can they stick to their plans?
Again, it's about discipline. You know, you have to set these targets in place and be very, you know, rigid in enforcing them. For instance, you know, save before you spend. Yeah. So if you're a salary earner, for instance, as soon as you get your salary, set aside the saving before you start spending, because there's always going to be things to spend on. Human beings, we're highly insatiable, so there's always things we see to spend on. However, if you have the discipline to save first, and if you're saving for a goal, for instance, you're saving for a holiday, or you're saving to buy a car or to buy a house, you have a plan in place, so it tends to be easier to not dip into your savings when the time comes.
Okay, now how can those that depend on transfer payments save?
Well, again, I think, look, everything is boiled down to what you want to achieve. Yeah, if your payments are irregular, or if your payments, you know, are not, you know, regular, like salary earners, for instance, it's still the same principles. Can you set aside what you earn at any given time? Yeah, if you set aside whatever percentage of what you earn, it's still going to have that compounding effect in the long run, because we're all looking for financial freedom, essentially. Right? You don't want to get to retirement where your body's not able to work, you're not able to earn as much income, yet, you know, you don't have the fallback option of your retirement income.
Okay, how do you save best, considering long and short-term goals?
Okay, well, it depends on your risk appetite. However, I would say, you know, consider money market funds. Money market mutual funds are, you know, almost entirely risk-free. For as little as 5,000 naira, you can save in a money market fund. I mean, I don't need to call names, but there's some very good money market funds out there. And the good thing about it is it doesn't give you that immediate access like a bank, you know, with your ATM card. So it's good for long-term planning. You can set money aside, set your direct debits to your mutual funds every month, and it's set aside there. And you don't have the temptation of being able to easily access it. For your short-term expenditures, you can still use your bank savings accounts. Again, that gives you savings accounts a little bit more tempting in terms of having access to them. However, obviously for short-term needs, it's definitely worth considering.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Ibrahim Shelling.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, moving on. It is an established fact that manufacturing is the backbone of a country's economic development. What is the place of access to credit in manufacturing in Nigeria? Leah Katumba Butunde journeyed to the ancient city of Kano to have first-hand experience of folding companies and government's effort to inject vigor into them.
Arrives work like every other morning, ready to face the hustle of the day in Sharada Industrial Layout. He is a factory worker in one of Kano's big companies that produce bags for packaging of commodities across West Africa. However, a bleak future, he says, stares him in the face.
I have a wife, I have kids, I have people that feed under me. If this company closed down, what are they going to do? Are we going to beg on the street? As we can see, we are all scared, we are not happy. Because every day I come in, I'm afraid. I don't know what is going to happen in the next tomorrow.
I'm not feeling better because our salary is very poor. We are suffering, no money, and now we are hearing they want to close the place.
1,500 staff before, but now we are not more than 150 now. So you know, definitely a lot of people have already gone, and we don't hope. Our hope still, we are thinking maybe we will not survive it even for now.
More than 3/4 of the company lie fallow, desolate and unproductive. Owners of the company who refuse to comment on camera point to Export Expansion Grant EEG as the culprit. This is just one of the thousands of factories that are threatened to close down or even already closed due to EEG. The Export Expansion Grant is a government initiative aimed at supporting active exporters expand their international business via more exports of existing products in current and new markets. It is a post-shipment incentive designed to expand export volumes and improve global competitiveness of Nigerian products. The negotiable duty credit certificates were used to pay for import and excise duties and could be sold for cash. The program was suspended in 2013 due to perceived abuse by beneficiaries in claiming the grant. However, government thought it wise to reintroduce it in 2017 to encourage non-oil export activities. Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed says 1.9 trillion naira is what the federal government has as outstanding payments in 2018 for contractor and EEG payments from debts inherited in 2015.
There are some approval processes which include approval by FEC, approval which has been received, approval by the National Assembly, and they are at an advanced stage of completing that. When it is conveyed to us, the Debt Management Office will be issuing promissory notes in that regard.
The first stage will be that they'll be verified by an audit firm as valid amounts that were incurred, and then we ask for a discount, and after that the promissory notes can then be issued for that discounted value.
With this new lease of life, factory workers like Ibrahim, Mary and Raymond will begin to smile again. Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says the Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, stood at 61.1 index point as at December 2018, indicating an expansion in the manufacturing sector for 21 consecutive months. This is contained in the CBN's monthly PMI survey report by the Statistics Department. The report indicates that the index grew at a faster rate when compared to 57.9 index points recorded in November. The vice presidential applicant's subsidy puzzle, according to the survey report, 13 of the 14 subsectors assessed reported growth in the month, reviewed in the following order: transportation equipment, furniture and related products, printing and related support activities, textile, apparel, leather and footwear. Others are plastics and rubber products, chemical and pharmaceutical products, food, beverage and tobacco products, non-metallic mineral products, paper products, fabricated metal products, cement, electrical equipment, and petroleum and coal products. The Nigerian Stock Exchange (NSE) says 35 stockbroking firms have been expelled from the bourse. The exchange, in a notice, said the decision was reached after a special meeting of its National Council on December 13th. The NSE said the public should not deal with the expelled firms in relation to transactions on the exchange, and any investor who has a stockbroking account with the firms should transfer to any licensed firm that is a dealing member of the exchange. The Nigerian Stock Exchange Sustainability Disclosure Guidelines, approved by the Securities Exchange Commission (SEC), comes fully effective January 1st, 2019. The Nigerian Stock Exchange says it recognizes that the promotion of environmental, social, and governance (ESG) principles can facilitate more meaningful engagement between investors and listed companies on ESG risk and opportunities. This, in turn, is expected to further deepen the role played by market operators and regulators in leading sustainability policies and regulations. The guidelines primarily provide the value proposition for sustainability in the Nigerian context. It also articulates a step-by-step approach to integrating sustainability into organizations, indicators that should be considered when providing annual disclosure to the exchange, and timelines for such disclosures. Chief Executive Officer of the NSE, Oscar Oyema, say the exchange is supporting the global agenda of green and sustainable finance, which is so critical for Africa. Nigeria is the first exchange to list a sovereign green bond in Africa. Bargain hunting characterized trading patterns at the Nigerian stock market, which traded for only 3 days in the week ended Friday, 28 December 2018, following 2 days of public holidays to mark Christmas and Boxing Day. Let's have the highlights of the week, which turned out positive, from Amina Nujam.
Stock market report for the week ended December 28, 2018 indicates that it was a brief trading week as the market opened for 3 days in observance of the public holidays, being Tuesday 25th and Wednesday 26 December 2018, declared by the federal government of Nigeria to mark the Christmas celebrations. The NSE share index appreciated by 0.86% to close the week at 31,000 basis points, while market capitalization stood at 11.33 trillion naira. Similarly, all other indices finished higher with the exception of the NSE Premium, NSE Insurance and NSE Industrial Goods indices that depreciated by 1.46%, 0.83% and 0.99%. while the NSE ASM index closed flat. Meanwhile, a total of 3.129 billion shares worth 14.348 billion naira in 10,394 deals were traded last week by investors. The financial services industry led the activity chart with 2.578 billion shares, valued at 9.397 billion naira, traded in 5,631 deals, thus contributing 82.38% and 65.49% to the total equity turnover volume and value. The services industry followed with 385.985 million shares, worth 974.145 million naira in 236 deals. The third place was conglomerates industry with a turnover of 88.808 million shares, worth 141.884 million naira. Trading in top three equities, NEM Insurance PLC, Wema Bank PLC and Medview Airline PLC accounted for 2.415 billion shares, worth 5.536 billion naira in 291 deals, contributing 77.18% and 38.58% to the total equity turnover volume and value. Also traded last week was a total of 25,500 units of exchange-traded products valued at 1.782 million, executed in 15 deals. There was a total of 686 units of federal government bonds valued at over 689,000 naira traded in 3 deals. In the price movement chart, 52 equities appreciated in price, while 18 equities depreciated in price.
And on Wall Street, stocks ended Friday mostly lower, but locked first weekly gain in a turbulent December. Let's have a look at how stocks are faring. From 2nd January 2019, banks and other financial institutions are required to assign tracking number for every complaint received from their customers. Issue an acknowledgement which shall contain the assigned tracking number to the customer and commence upload of complaints to the Consumer Complaints Management System (CCMS) on a daily basis. The Central Bank of Nigeria, in a circular, stated that the regulation is in furtherance of its mandate to promote a stable financial system. It will open an automated system aimed at easing complaints management to engender public confidence in the financial system. Let's see how some major commodities are trading. On that note, we close the curtains on Business Express for the year 2018. Remember to send us your feedback via email businessexpress@nta.gov.ng. You can also reach us on Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now and the hashtag BizX. Let's do more in 2019. I am Musa Abubakar.